guys, good morning. You join me here at a brisk but very sunny Snetterton because today I'm finally getting involved with my tyre test. Yes, if you don't follow me on social media, you would have seen that recently I was gifted some tyres from my good friends at Goodyear. And the tyres in question are their widely regarded Eagle F1 Supersport range. More specifically, the tyres I have are Supersport Rs. In brief, you can get 3 to choose from. The Supersport, a 50-50 balanced all-rounder that takes precedence from the already successful Eagle F1 asymmetric compound. The Supersport R moves towards pushing the envelope for track work while still retaining good dry and wet road performance. And lastly, the Supersport RS that pretty much pushes all boundaries for a road legal tyre, following on from the R where optimization is focused on dry weather performance. All 3 options tick every box for those looking for a high performance tyre that can perform on and off track. And thankfully, past tense Chris is at a technical dry UK race circuit, or as we know, Snetterton. So we may as well head back and find out what he has to say.
Sighting laps. For some reason my forward-facing camera is not working for this. Hopefully I'll get that fixed before I start pushing a little bit more. So yeah, pressures are 32 on the front and 34 on the rear cold. They are a road tyre, so I don't want to take too much pressure out of them because yeah, I then start taking the life out of them a bit more. But yeah, my car isn't exactly set up for track. What I mean by that is it's fully road legal, it's MOT'd of course, but it hasn't got any fancy suspension, which really you should have if you're doing a lot of circuit work. You should rely more on your setup rather than playing around with pressures. Your pressure should really be an afterthought. But yeah, initial thoughts of the tyres, I really do like them. Of course, I've got to bed in pads because I put some new pads in yesterday. Yeah, it's true Pocket Rockets fashion, last minute. But yeah, it's got very stiff sidewalls, so you do really get some confidence when you're pushing through corners. Now, throughout the day, I will be using my trusty tyre pressure monitor to sort of keep an eye on what the tyres are doing, but I'm not going to fixate too much on it. Just because, yeah, as I said, these are technically a road tyre, although they do have a better compound than most road tyres to help for. Obviously, days like this, they still will overheat more so than a semi-slick, for example. But I'm intrigued to find out today how well they perform because I've used normal all-round road tyres before, and yeah, after 2 laps, they're dead. They just have so much hot air in them. They may as well be hot air balloons.
Sighting laps complete. It's quite fun actually. It's probably the funnest I've ever had on sighting laps. Now, first impressions of the tyres, of course, I've only pushed them to probably 5-10% of their capability, but from my first sort of experience on them on circuit, because I have obviously used them on road, which is a completely different matter, I am extremely impressed. It's almost like I feel I've already got my semi-slicks bolted on it. That's how good I feel with them initially. Now, it'll probably change when I start pushing them a bit more, but no, very good. And because they are sort of a road tyre but have the capabilities for you to use them on track on an occasion, they don't need much to get warmed up. Pretty much you can go flat out straight away. I don't recommend it, especially if you're a novice. Don't go flat out straight away, especially at Snetterton. Turn 1 is not flat, no matter how much your mates tell you. But I'm going to go and check the tyres now whilst I've fresh from sighting laps, and then I will reconvene with you once we get out and do some laps. I'm excited, I can't wait.
Right, time to push. Gently and responsibly, of course. Now, if you're wondering, tyre pressures. So, when I came back in, the tyres were 36 all round. So I gave them a little bit of time to cool and put them back to what they were before. Now, I was just speaking to my friend Adam Shepherd, who you should know by now, races in TCR UK, broke lap record at Donington as the quickest TCR car ever in the UK, and he gave me some advice on tyres, and we'll give way to Radical for not only the first time of the day. But yeah, he said that you don't really want to run the car with low pressures with these sort of tyres because you just struggle to get heat into them. So what you actually want to do is pump them loads. Hence why we've got really, really high tyre pressures. But it's actually performing really well. I'll tell you what, guys, I am very impressed with these tyres. Wow, they definitely live up to the hype. Oh, yellow flag already. And the only first lap. What? Oh, of course, the Radical's broken. Oh, of course. Anyway, oh, it's red flag. There we go. Red flag number 1. Not even a lap. Oh. Anyway, whilst we collect ourselves going round the entire circuit at 2 miles an hour, tyres, oh, honestly, very good. I'm very impressed, Goodyear. Very impressed. Goodyear only provide these in from 18s to 21s, which is a bit of a shame. And I think that's one gripe that I will have today. I think that if I had a 17 or even a 16 on this car, I think the tyre performance would be even better, miles better. And it's a shame because it really does take away a lot from the market, especially older hot hatches like this that run 17s, even stuff like MX-5s. I think these tyres would be perfect on MX-5s. And for an ever-growing market, considering that Goodyear are involved with British touring cars, TCR and racing all across the world, they put all their development into these tyres. So you'd think that they'd give the tyres to everyone as much as possible so you can get them out there on any car you can. It's a shame really, because I'm a Goodyear fan. I run Eagle F1 asymmetrics on my road cars, even my BM to be precise, and I have to say they are awesome and I swear by them. I recommend them to anyone. But yeah, it's just a shame that I couldn't get them in 17s, because I think that it would have been a lot nicer. You would have got a lot less unsprung weight, of course, and I should think just better feel in turning. Now, turning is actually surprisingly good considering the size of the wheel, and I used to run 15s on this, well still do until the next few weeks, where I'll be putting my 15s back on after the testing concludes. The steering does feel positive, very nice. You feel a lot of feedback through corners, I have to say. Right, take 2 of the first session. Tut tut tut, crossing the solid line. Naughty boy. Yeah, it's definitely not flat through here, I can tell you that for certain. I tell you, this car is so peppy, I love it. And this hairpin is very testing on tyres, especially cars that don't have LSDs like mine. I'll tell you what, turning and the power out, absolutely astonishing. Love it. Whee! Feel the rear end come out very slightly. Went pretty wide through there, to be fair. With a tyre like this, you have to manage expectations. You can't expect it to last forever in terms of just pound out lap after lap, because yeah, soon after the car is just gonna become a wide wash of understeer. But until that happens, just have fun. And this tyre definitely offers that, offers bundles of it. So much confidence. I am honestly so impressed with the grip round Corum. Literally, I've never experienced grip like it, apart from on semi-slicks, of course, which is definitely a praise for a more treaded, more road-going tyre. I tell you, usually, I think I've done about 4 laps now. Okay, granted, I haven't pushed as much as I wanted to because of traffic, but usually I'd be in by this point, letting the tyres cool and the brakes cool. I think this will be the last lap of my first session, but yeah, definitely smell a whiff of pad. Safe to say they're probably overly bedded in now. This is good fun. I'll tell you what, guys, if you're a novice and you're looking to build a track car, you've got something like a Focus or a Megane, a nice bigger hot hatch, don't look any further but a tyre like this. Because what happens is, if you go onto a full-blown semi-slick straight away, or even a slick, you don't appreciate feedback from the car. And although that is pretty planted, a semi-slick is definitely a step up, over this tyre, that's for definite. But for the price point of it and the versatility from it, using it on the road, and then if you want to come on a track, there's no tyre like it, honestly. Oh. Right, let's get this sweaty helmet off and have a little recap on that first session. Oh, there we are. Helmet here, the lot. So, despite the traffic and some of the dismal driving that you would have seen on camera, not by me I hope, yeah, the tyres performed very well, better than I actually expected they would do. So, hats off to Goodyear. Now, it's probably worthless the hand clap, because you've got to expect it from Goodyear, because as I said, all their motorsport heritage, especially at the minute in British touring cars, TCR UK, TCR over Europe, all that stuff, and then bringing in all that development work into these road going tyres, you can definitely feel that pedigree. So yeah, hats off to Goodyear. Now I'm going to have a cool down again, check the pressures, and I'll update you with them in the second session. All right, second but technically third session of the day. Now, tyre pressures again, when I came in from the session that I filmed, they were 36 all round again, so they've been pretty consistent, the tyres as well. And then when I did my session off camera, again I brought them down to 32 front, 34 rear, again came in and they're about 36, 37. So yeah, again, consistency has been pretty impressive. Now, despite Aaron not being here, let's talk a little bit about it, because this was meant to be a comparison with his Supersports and my Supersport Rs. But unfortunately, because he decided to be Bob the Builder and round off his caliper bolt, he's not here in his Leon Cupra. But I have, fortunately, thanks to him, been able to experience his car with those tyres on when they were fresher, well, when they were pretty much box fresh. And they're, to me, although they are, with this Fiesta and his Leon are completely two different cars. I mean, he's got like 150 horsepower up on me with lots more torque, and the car's a lot wider and bigger. Of course, the characteristics of the car are completely different to this. But when you're talking about the tyre just alone, there is a night and day difference. I found that the Supersports rolled a lot more in comparison to this, and they got hot quicker as well. And if you watch Aaron's video, which I'll leave in the top right hand corner so you can go and watch, you can see the graining on the tyre, like really bad, because it just got destroyed by heat. It was probably more because he didn't manage pressures as well, but yeah, you could tell they were definitely more of a road biased tyre in comparison to this. Now, towards the end of the day, we will look at how bad the tyre is. I probably forgot to get a bit of B-roll of the tyre before today, but ultimately this tyre was like brand spanking new before me getting on the circuit caning them. So yeah, we'll get a shot of B-roll towards the end of the day to see how much damage they've actually taken. And at the minute, they've been fairly good. Every time I've come in, the tyre feels very tacky, and it's actually getting some heat in them, which is very, very good. Because you don't want cold tyres, even on a sort of warmish day, you want some heat, because heat equals grip. But I tell you, from my experience, yes, limited experience trying out other tyres, other rivals over these tyres, I see them really do struggle when you start pushing them for longer periods of time, and the evidence is them graining, like I said earlier. So we've established that I'm impressed with the amount of grip that these tyres offer you for the duration they offer as well. They don't die out as quick as a road tyre. So later on we will find out how they look towards an absolute spanking. So yeah, I plan to do 6 sessions today, so 3 will be on camera and then the other 3 will be off camera. You start to push this tyre more and more after you've done a few laps and there's a bit more heat in them. When you start putting load on them, they do start to struggle off and peter very slightly. Although these have got really stiff sidewalls, I'm just struggling now. Plus I've got a 116i trophy car right up the trumpet. I can't go flat through corners like you, I don't have suspension. Yeah, I'm just now that I'm getting more comfortable with the tyre, I'm now starting to find its limits, which is understandable. You're gonna. Yeah, the car does really feel sloppy now. But in comparison to other road tyres that I've driven in this car, they're definitely performing miles better. 80 through here. Bloody hell. That's probably slow to most people, but so I think I'm going to conclude my sort of commentary on circuit, talking about the tyres itself, because it's getting to a point now where I'm sort of repeating myself, and that's in a good way, but that's a good thing, because the tyres are really impressing me, how they're performing. They're not really diving off a cliff as much as I thought they would. They're still holding themselves pretty well, considering that there's cars out there that are on full-blown suspension, they've got loads of camber, loads of toe, everything, and here I am with pretty much no camber at all on some good performance tyres, as opposed to probably most of these guys are running semi-slicks. So I'm hanging in there with people, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut to a good fast lap with no sound, no talking, and then we'll come to the end of the day and I'll show you guys what the tyres look like, and just share any more faults that I have that I find. One thing I will say is that if you're sort of a novice driver and you are struggling sort of with a driving style, so you're just taking different lines all the time because you're sort of not thinking about it too much and you overdrive the car, that's when the tyre will start to give way. And I was sort of doing that halfway through that session, and as soon as I started getting a little bit smoother, like how I usually drive, the car was, started to dial out the understeer a bit more. The rear was still quite playful. When I say quite playful, it was inviting it to turn, but it wasn't going to do it. It still gave you the confidence that the car's very loose at the back, and generally in these cars they are quite firm on the rear, so they tend to do that. In that hairpin, actually, you do cock a wheel, so hopefully I get a photo of that. If not, MSV, you need to up your game with your photographers. But yeah, very impressed. I'm going to oh, that was a good call. That GoPro, the one that may be useless, died. But yeah, I'm going to have some lunch, go and refuel Gingy, and yeah, sort of do some more laps in the car, and hopefully I'll capture a fast lap that I can put in for you guys to enjoy, and then we'll conclude and sort of give my final verdict of the tyres. But safe to say, I'm very impressed so far. Good job. In true impulsive fashion, I decided to sneak out for another session just before lunch, and that, in all honesty, was meant to be the last filmed segment of the day because I wanted to give the car a break and head home early. Well, in the next part that you're about to see, I think I took the word retire to a whole new level. Yes, that was a scary moment, as you can see from my body language, and the thought of getting towed all the way home started to sink in. Now, as you can see what happened, I took that curb on the last corner a bit too hard, and I found out a bit later on that the car decided to think it was in a crash. Yes, the Fiesta has a front crash sensor on the front of the bumper, and of course hitting that curb a little bit exuberantly meant the car went into limp mode with the hazards going, and where I decided to stop wasn't the best place. Yes, I decided to block the pit lane entrance, and yeah, I wasn't too happy about that, so I tried to scramble the car back to life, but in the end
It did, and as you can see, a few gentlemen started to run across from the pit garages to help, but by that time the car started.
I took a big curve and the thing thought I had a crash.
Oh right. It all shut itself off. Typical.
Yeah.
As long as you're alright.
Yeah, thanks mate.
Alright, buddy.
Now, I thought it was just a troubleshooting exercise of turning the car back on and off, and as you can see, I proceeded to go back down the pit lane to go back out stupidly for some reason. And then the time I got to the front of the pit lane to see the marshals to let me out, the car decided to cut out again. And that meant the lovely marshals from MSV pushed me back to the garage, and I had to find out what was wrong. Now, the problem was, as I said, the sensor decided to have a little hissy fit. And with a quick Google, I managed to find someone who had the exact same problem as me at Snetterton at the same corner. And what was the result of? The Fiestas are prone to doing this, and thanks to Peak Performance Reviews, Alex also stated this as well, because he used to have a Fiesta ST and had it quite a few times. So yeah, I decided to give the car a little rest, and you'll see in the next scene I will be taking you out for my fast lap to end the day. What a nightmare!
Oh, thank you very much, darling.
As promised, the final session of the day. Oh, what a stress that was earlier on, but thankfully the car is fine. I drove it around at lunch just to make sure before heading back out onto the circuit. As you can see, big thumbs up to the marshal that helped me get the car back into the garage after that ordeal. And now it's on to some laps. Now I'm going to just show you one fast lap. So with a click of a finger, we're now on to my quick lap. Enjoy. And we'll conclude later on after the lap is finished.
Unfortunately, it's time to conclude and end today's shenanigans. It's been a fantastic day. The car's been flawless, apart from that little mishap with the front crash sensor. What a pain in the arse. But nevertheless, I want to say a big thank you to Goodyear for giving me this opportunity, and also you guys, because without you guys I wouldn't be doing things like this. I have to pinch myself recently because not only am I nearing 2,000 subscribers, hopefully by the time this video is uploaded it would be, so a big thank you for that, but I just get opportunities that I just couldn't dream of, and it may seem small, but to me, oh, I'm just over the moon with it. But anyway, I'm actually going to grab the camera. I'm going to grab the camera and run through the tyres. So the tyres, as I've pretty much alluded to throughout this video whilst on circuit, they've been very consistent. Now, as I promised, I'm going to show you the tread, so hopefully you can see the tyre doesn't actually look that much in bad nick. Now, usually with road going tyres, they'd be grained to hell like all along the sidewalls, but on here they're perfect. They look brand new. Now, I haven't got a tread gauge meter with me, so I can't actually give you what's left on the tread, but maybe I'll put something in the video now giving you a before and after, so what they give you new and what they are now all the time I get home, of course. But yeah, the car has been brilliant. I really do love this car, and it now is provoking me now to go and get suspension and all that sort of stuff, just to make it truly an awesome bit of kit on track, because I was surprising myself against cars that were better set up than mine, probably a little bit faster, even not, maybe they were a bit slower, but through corners, yeah, they would just leave me. Well, try to anyway, because I was keeping up. Yeah, I was keeping up with them. But yeah, the tyres also were very tacky. They were getting hot very quick as well. So it gives any track day goer the confidence to push this car from the get-go, because yeah, they really are there from as soon as you enter the circuit. Yeah, they've got your back. Pressures for the whole day, I pretty much run 34 on the rear and 32 on the front, and yeah, I thought it was fantastic. The car performed very well all the way through. Even when they got hotter, yeah, they still were there and still saving my bacon. But anyway, I'm going to try and vlog myself with this big ass camera, which is going to probably end very badly. But yeah, I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone. I've said it and I'll say it again, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. But yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity. I'm a very lucky boy. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you've got any questions about the Supersport range, please do leave it in the comments below, because of course that question that you ask may help other people that watch this video too. But until next time, I will see you all soon, and until the next madness happens. But anyway, goodbye.